Thinking in loops. That's the topic of today's Just Chatting stream. There's a story behind everything. This is the theme that's been constant today in my life is that there's a story behind everything. So if I'm going to title my stream and call it Thinking in Loops, what does that mean? How did I arrive at that title? Something must have happened prior to me coming online on the Jer Show. And if you're wondering why I'm shirtless, it's 86 degrees out. I have 2 fans going and a tiny little air conditioner. It's not enough. I'm sweating my 50-year-old balls off over here. It's the only way I can stay cool, okay? So, I do what I want. It's my show. So anyways, Thinking in Loops. How did I arrive at Thinking in Loops? I'm looking around my room today because I don't have a lot of stuff really to do today. Like I was busy all weekend. I was delivering. I was streaming. I was busy. But today is different. Today's like I don't have a lot of pending responsibilities other than tying up loose ends. Or what I like to call them, loops. Now, I came out of the word loop because I try to keep a record of things that I do, activities. So this way, if you keep a log of your activities and you look back, you can see what you've been spending your time on. You do a little analysis, okay? And in this analyzing, you're like, okay, last week I did this. This is how I've been spending my time. So if I want to get more things done, I look at how I've been spending my time. And maybe I've been wasting time where I should have been doing something else. It's an analysis. My favorite football team, the New York Giants, Joe Judge, the coach, he calls it self-scouting, where you look at your tendencies. That's what coaches do. They look at the game tape, they look at the practices, and they see what has been taking place and the tendencies of those players. And then you address the tendencies and you come up with new ways of overcoming the bad tendencies to turn the liabilities into assets. Well, I kind of do that in my own life, okay? It's what makes me me. It's how I grow, all right? Now, I'm looking down on the floor and I see this loop pedal that I bought. And there's been so much going on in my life lately with I had a friend die last week. I was trying to call my other friend and his phone wasn't working. I've had a lot of stuff going on, and I realized they're just loops too. Like there's this movie called The Matrix, and The Matrix says everything that has a beginning has an end. And I'm realizing this now. My friend passed away last week. I met him at a time in my life, and we've known each other for a long time, and now I've survived, he's passed on, the loop is closed. But see, now that I have time today to analyze and look at my loops, I'm digging through this box in here. When I moved in here, I just moved into this basement apartment. I just moved in a few months ago. And I still have loops that they're open. And they only need one little thing. Give you an example. I had a remote control. I needed the batteries. Couldn't find the batteries. Going through the drawer, found the batteries, put the batteries in the remote, close the loop, put that remote, because the remote's on my desk. This desk is supposed to be for writing. I'm supposed to be writing a bio of my life. And I have an interest in writing. I have a guitar behind me. I always wanted to be a songwriter. I'm studying songwriting. I went up to the library a week ago or so. I don't know. And I'm like, I want to write down the activity just for the record. So today I got a notebook out and I was like, all right, the loop pedal story. When did I start researching loopers? Loop pedals are pedals that a lot of musicians are using on Twitch right now. Because I noticed trends. I noticed there's a trend on YouTube with loop pedals. Loop pedal, you play a little, you record your phrase, it plays the loop back to you, and you play over the top of that loop. People love it. There's people that are making tons of money just sitting in their room like I am with a looper and an instrument, and I'm like, I'm missing out on this because I don't have a looper. So I finally took action, and I did some research on loopers. And I was like, when was this exactly? So I had to go through my phone and look at my text message correspondent with my friend Dan and try to figure out the day that I was going down to the music store to get the looper. And that was, according to the phone, it was the 24th of June. Now, I forget exactly how it all happened because I've been so stressed. So it's like by doing a timeline and going back over the story, it's my brain is getting better because it's now like looking at all the facts and how it actually went down. So I'm looking at my phone records and it's saying, you know, on the 24th, I found out that my friend passed away. Like his loop had ended actually on the 23rd, but I didn't find out until the 24th. So for the record, the history of it is that I did the research for my looper on the 22nd of June. I went to the music store on the 23rd, the day that my other friend passed away. But I didn't know he passed away because my friend's phone wasn't working. See? So I came back that night, the 23rd, with the looper. I was all excited about it. I was getting ready to go on Twitch and play my music and maybe make some people happy and maybe get some more subscribers. And then I found out my friend passed, and it was like everything in my world just shut down. I was like, I can't function that well right now. And it's been over a week since I found out my friend passed. And it hurt, you know, I cried on and off. I reached out to the guy's sister and said, oh, you know, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm devastated. I just found out myself. And one of the reasons that it hurt so bad is him and I have always been, over the years, struggling with our demons. Both of us have made several attempts. We've been successful, then we've slipped back, came back out. I came out of the darkness 7 years ago. And he went back in. So I realized that there's some loops still going on with how I feel about him and our past and my friend Danny and that's what life is about. That's really what I'm realizing today, is that loops exist. Some of them are closed, some of them are unclosed. They might always, some of them might stay closed forever. Some of them may be open forever. Like some of them are closable, some of them are not. Now, if you're completely confused at this point, I want to explain. I have a phone. I love it. Kept dropping it. I wanted to find a case for it. Went into Walmart, couldn't find a case. Didn't think about it for a couple days. Went back into Walmart the other day. There it is on clearance. $5 for this plastic piece that keeps my phone safe from dropping it. The loop is closed. I no longer need to look for the case because I have it. The tension has been resolved. But now when I go to plug my phone in, it won't charge. So now I have a new problem in regards to the phone. I have a new loop that just opened up. So now I have to close that loop. I have to go online and find out why my phone isn't charging. So it can charge regularly from now on. But what I realized is if I recharge the phone, shut it off, turn it back on, I can charge it while it's on. I just can't charge it while it's off. I don't know why. It's a loop. I have to close. I have to go online and I have to do the research so I can close that loop. And not a lot of people think this way. Engineers think this way. I'm not an engineer, but I think I'm onto something by thinking in loops. Like when I moved in and I had these boxes, I just shoved every miscellaneous thing I could find in there. And now it's bothering me that I have a corner in my room that's just full of stuff that I need to go through. And today I just happen to not really be doing any responsible stuff. So I'm going to go close some loops. Some people call it unfinished business. I call it a loop. I'm going through these drawers and I'm like, why is this microphone here from 2000 something? I never use it. It's no good to me. It might not even work. Why am I saving it? Like maybe I should throw it out or use it as a decoration. I don't know. But if I'm not using it, it's not getting any use for years. It has no purpose. You should throw it out or use it. But I have a good microphone. This one on the desk is stellar. I'd rather use this microphone. It's a better mic. It's a better mic for the job. The job that this microphone did worked at the time. I probably didn't have no money. And it was all I could afford. And it's a high Z microphone, which a lot of musicians or people that know about audio, like it's only good for certain frequencies, really. It's not an all-around multi-purpose mic. It's just, why do I keep it? It's a loop. It's a loop that isn't closed. That's why. Maybe that's why when people are crazy, they say that they're loopy, because they have too many loops that are still open. Well, that guy's loopy. Maybe, I don't know. So like while I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do today, I can look through this box and be like, watch, I'll show you. I'm gonna close some loops right now. This is an internet Netgear tool to get wireless internet. I don't need it. I got a thing now, it's great. Somebody else might need it. I don't think I'll ever use it again. Maybe I'll try to sell it. Or ask some of my friends, like, hey, do you need a Netgear internet hub thing? 'Cause I don't. So this would go in the category of things I would sell or give away. And that would go into a box itself. The point is there's two boxes. My goal is to get rid of one box and just have one box to look through and not two. So that's progress. The other thing that I could do is I bought an organizer. I bought a 6-cube thing, right, from Walmart the other day. You see it? You see that thing back there? See that white planks and stuff? That's an organizer that I have to build. And it's not like I'm a master craftsman and I'm going to build it from scratch. It's all there. I just have to read the directions. Or I could be like most of my other people, crazy friends that just, if all else fails, then read the directions. I'm going to like put that together, put it against the wall where all those boxes were of stuff I didn't go through, and then somehow put the books that are on the floor and stuff, put those in the organizer, and any of the loose stuff that's around. Maybe I have pictures of some people that I care about. I can put those in there, just to make it look more appealing, pleasing to the eye. Because what happens is when I come in the room, I look over and I'm like, wow, this is ugly. I don't like me fix. So that's what I'm doing. I'm closing that loop. And I'm realizing that if you keep track of the loops and you write them down, and then that becomes your story. People love stories. Like, what is this? It looks like a battery cover to something. So I gotta find the thing that it goes to. And if I can't find it, I gotta throw it away. The loop is over. Goodbye, loop. There, I found it. That loop is closed. And you write it down, it becomes an archive. I found the battery pack to the thing and I replaced it. Then when people talk to me, what'd you do today? And I got a list. Oh, I closed a bunch of loops. Feels good? Feels good to close those loops? So yeah, so this is like I have stuff to do to keep me busy so I don't, my demons don't show up and I end up like my poor friend Stacy, may he rest in peace. So this thing is going to be cool. It's going to serve a purpose, this organizer thing that I bought. And it, you know, it's been sitting in my car for a couple of days now. But I'm going to close the loop today. It's kind of hard to like, it's been hard for me to function lately because I keep just thinking about my friend and the loss of their families. And you know, my heart goes out to the Waters family. And I'm trying to process it all. And that's a loop too. That's a loop. Grief is a loop. I've learned this. I lost a grandfather, then I lost a grandmother, and then I lost the other grandfather. All in a matter of like a couple of years. And I wasn't ready. No one's ready. But one thing that I learned over the years, through reading, in a book, actually it was the internet, but that grief is a process. Grief is a loop. And I hope people are watching this because it seems like almost every day when I go on Facebook, there's these stories about somebody losing a pet, and it's like, oh my God. Pets can be just like friends. When you lose pets, it's a difficult thing. And it's grief as a process. And there's stages of grief. And I was actually trying to help one of my friends. Me and my friend Dan, we survived the death of my friend Stacy, who we always adored and always talked about and always wondered how he was, even if he wasn't doing well, you know, and that's something that I'm struggling with like every day, is that when people have issues, you love them. But you want to distance yourself from the issues. You don't want to distance yourself from the person with the issues, and then it becomes like a inner battle. Like, should I help him? If I help him, am I helping him, or if I not, am I not helping him? And that drama has been with me for the past couple of years in regards to my relationship with this not healthy person. And I guess what I'm realizing is that I can't make anyone healthy, especially if I'm not the healthiest person either. But what I can do is I can be as healthy as I can be and try to inspire people. And I realized after he passed that that's what I want to do with the rest of my life, is I just want to inspire people. Like I remember back when I first learned how to play the guitar, and it was impressive to me, it was impressive to other people, and I was like a little hometown celebrity or so I thought, you know. And then you get older and you grow up and it's like, no one cares as much anymore. And some people are still impressed by musicality, and some people aren't. It's just it's a loop. So I have loops still active that need to be closed. Like I have a parakeet, okay? He can't bathe himself because there's no pond around. I've tried to bring him into the sink and he's not into that. So I had a spray bottle. And they like to get sprayed, so it's filled up with water. I give him a little, then I close that loop, because now he's happy. But the spray bottle broke on me. So yesterday I was trying to decide, how do I handle this? I could spend $3 and just get another bottle and throw the other one away. Maybe I could try to glue it. But then I'm like, what if the glue doesn't hold? And eventually I closed the loop by saying, I'm going to buy another one in case the glue don't hold. But if the glue does hold, now I got 2 bottles. Oh well. So I filled up the bottle today, put some water, and the bird got sprayed. So I did my responsible pet owner thing. And now he's all happy taking a nap. And I thought maybe I would take the looper thing that I bought, that I mentioned earlier, plug my guitar into it and maybe just play some phrases and play loops over it. And I've been doing Rocket League streams consistently the last 2 nights at about 5:30. And I realized playing games, that's a loop too. Start out as a beginner. If you want to get better, you got to work on the stuff that you're not good at. Close the loop and go higher. So there's something that actually blew my mind today as I was reading. Now, they say you probably shouldn't come on a stream if you, what's the word? Creating content, you're supposed to create your own content and not really use somebody else's. But when it comes to books and movies and stuff, like, I think as long as I don't read the whole book, it's not hurting anything. If I read like a couple paragraphs, it's really just promotion for the book anyways. I'm not making any money on what I say, so it's not like I'm stealing. So, as I was down in Clifton Park at Saratoga area last week to buy the looper that I mentioned, I stopped in Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble is a bookstore. It's kind of survived the whole bookstore closings, I guess you could say. Like, I remember in Saratoga there years ago there was a Borders Books and there was a Barnes & Noble. And they were, competition. One was over on this side of town, one was on that side of town. And one of them went under. I think it had to do with like everything's electronic now pretty much. Like there's the Kindles and the Nooks, and you can get your books on the Nooks. Books about Garth Brooks and anyways, I'm just trying to be stupid and right. But so anyways, I'm walking around Barnes & Noble, and they have these sections that are discount books. books that were more money, but they're now $10. $10. The book is called The Art of Doing. I bought The Art of Doing because I was starting to feel like I wasn't getting enough done in my life. I feel like a lot of other people were waking up and they were out and they were go-getters and they were getting shit done, and I was sitting around not. I wanted to start living like I wanted to live, living my dreams. I've always had dreams, but they've never really come true, and I want to know why. A lot of people think it's fate. Oh, it's just this happened and that happened. And these books are saying, no. It's up to you. If it's to be, it's up to me. So, on the subject of loops, I'm reading the beginning. And there's like a whole menu, basically, of what superachievers have in common. And they said it talks about I'll give you some examples. Dedication, intelligent persistence, community, listening, etc., etc. So I got this one story that really spoke to me. And it had to do with a tennis player. A Czechoslovakian Russian tennis player. I can't even say her name. I think it's Martina Kova, something. I wish I could just find it and I could just play it. All right, Martina Navratilova is the tennis player's name. And one of the things that they describe superachievers have in common is evolving. And when I read this, I was like, oh my God, I feel like they're talking about me. Okay. I'm just going to go and just brush over it. I'm not going to go into a deep dive here. A quick summary. A really good tennis player wins, is really good, comes right down to the big match, can't win. What's going on? So this is the part that I love when we talk about looping. This pretty much changed my life. Excuse me. This changed my life just today. There's a Harvard University Business School professor, his name's Chris Agurus, studied how people in organizations react when blocked from achieving their goals. It's the way I felt. That's why I bought the book in the first place. Just the sort of situation that Navratilova, the tennis player, and myself found herself in. Argyris discovered that those unable to reach their goals first try to detect what the problem is. Always doing that. Next, they attempt to correct the problem based on the information. The most common response is an insular, self-protective process. That's very important right there. Self-protective. Argyris called single loop learning. A process where only external or technical issues are questioned and none of the underlying assumptions are examined. That's me. That's me and a lot of other people. You basically say, like, if you're playing, let's say I was playing Rocket League, the game I love so much, and I keep missing shots. I could say, well, it's my mechanics, or it's the other teammates, or it's something else. That's a singular loop. For example, if Navratilova was not becoming a champion, perhaps she believed it was due to a technical glitch or that she just needed an attitude adjustment. Right? That's single loop learning. That makes sense. We all do that. We're all like, oh, it's just this. Maybe it's just that. But you don't take a deep dive into what the real issue is. You just kind of like scratching the surface. Sometimes it takes a deeper understanding of what's really happening. The second response, a deeper and much rarer form of the questioning process, Argyris labeled double loop learning, a method that requires self-awareness to recognize deeply held assumptions, brutal honesty to assess what is or isn't working, and accountability to take action on what is learned. That blew my mind because I'm sober 7.5 years, and there was a time where I just did not want to look at the fact that my drinking was out of control. I kind of knew it, but I really just didn't want to face it. And the day that I faced it is the day that my journey began. And there's been some ups and downs, but I'm doing pretty well lately compared to where I was. I'm not doing super in the grand scheme of things, but I am doing a lot better than when I was. Right. So when I met this friend who just passed, that was one of our things that we kind of had in common. I was like, hey, you're a mess, I am too. Let's get our act together. Let's get the band back together. Let's play. Let's become big rock stars. Let's drive Bentleys. Let's have Rolexes. And it was like all the wrong reasons. And we recorded a song, and that was like, whoa, yeah, we can do this. We can do this. We'll be all right. But he slipped back into the things we were trying to not do. With me, it wasn't so much drugs as it was drinking, you know. And so, like, I felt like he never held up his end of the bargain. So then he would get mad at me because I was upset at him for, you know, what are you doing? And we got into like a spat, and we didn't talk for like forever. And I moved back upstate, and I had this song, and I was trying to promote this song through the net and through SoundCloud and Spotify and all this, you know, and it wasn't taking off like I wanted it to. because I wasn't willing to look at the fact that maybe this song just wasn't that great. Like maybe the lyrics were off, you know, maybe a little tweak here and there, make it really nice. But I was like, no, this is good enough. And then I even submitted it like to a songwriting contest, and I didn't win. I didn't even come in the top 100. And I'm like, wow, maybe this song really just isn't that good. It's okay, but I need to do more, you know what I mean? I need to write again. I need to keep. So I realized, like, I just bought some recording software. I just bought some, like a week or so ago, with the intention of recording some new songs. And I haven't. And I realized, like, that's a loop too. It's a loop that's not closed. Like, if you come up with an idea, you need to finish it. And I haven't been doing that. I haven't closed the loops. So all I'm trying to say is this new awareness that I have, that things are loops, is probably going to help me in the future to finish some songs and do some recording. And I'm gonna go put this organizer together, close that loop. And then new loops start all over again. Like, I called 3 people today, 3 people. One of them couldn't talk, said he'd call me back later. That's a loop. Then he called me back, we talked, and then he had to go, so they closed the loop. But there's like a whole new loop that I didn't get to finish what I was saying to him, because he had to go. So now when he calls me back, I can finish the loop. Say, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. Like Billy Joel says, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. That's what he means, loops. My early life, with people I used to hang out with, I don't talk to them much anymore. I wish I did, but somewhere I guess I closed the loop. And I'm like, damn, why did I do that? You know what I mean? We were good friends. What was I thinking? I could always open the loop back up. Hey, how you been? What you been doing? Turns out they've probably been dealing with loops this whole time. I've been opening loops. I've been closing loops. Sometimes I can't even get to my loops unless I've had a cup of coffee. I'm not the go-getter that I used to be. And it depresses me. But this book taught me, like, if you do the things that you enjoy, then you become happy. So most of my life I've been in these loops where I'm only doing things to get by. I'm only doing things because I think other people will be happy. But I'm selling myself short by not doing what makes me happy. So when I go in the direction of making myself happy, then it's like this book called it an upward spiral. Like, you know, when you get mad, you do something stupid, and you go in a downward spiral. That's what I did for years. Now I'm realizing that I'm down here, I don't have a lot of, I don't know how much time I have left. And I need to spend every waking day from now on going after what makes me happy. And it creates an upward loop. Like singing and playing music always made me happy. It's what I've always done. And when I was doing it, I was at my happiest. And then when I'm not doing it, I'm miserable. And I haven't been doing a lot of it lately. But when I am doing it, I'm like, oh, I'm happy. Even if it's for a little bit. And if you knew where I came from and you heard me sing and play, you'd be like, I can't even believe this guy's doing this after, all of that. So, talking about loops, I'm talking about closing loops that have been open. And loops being, I don't know, tasks, activities. I'll give you an example. Many years ago, my dad bought me these little toy musical instruments as like a joke. As a like, not maybe a joke as in like the joke's on me, more of like, hey, I know you're into music and here's these cute little things. Well, I said, one day I'm gonna record a song with these tiny instruments. I've seen people on YouTube do it before. But I haven't done it because I've been doing other stuff. One day I'm going to close that loop. I'm going to sit down and say, I'm going to record this today. I'm going to do a whole orchestrated song with a kazoo and this guitar. I don't know. I don't know what I'll write it about, but so the idea of loops comes from recording. People that record music, most of the music that's done nowadays is looped. Back in the day when you recorded something, you hit record and you played and you had to be really good because if you didn't, you wasted the tape. But now everything's electronic. You just do a loop. As long as you play the first part of it right, you just copy and paste, and you can do the first chorus is the same as the second chorus because it's the same thing. It's copied and it's looped. I'm not going to talk too much more. I just think that I needed the world to know that I have a great new discovery, which I think would help my mental health and my life going forward, is that loops are where it's at. And there's probably a bunch of books that have been written on how to get things done. I don't, maybe there's books out there today that talk about loops, doing it in loops. If there isn't, maybe I'll write one. And that's a loop too, that's unclosed. It's the concept that everything that has a beginning has an end. If you ever download anything, when you download stuff, it shows you your progress. Like you get a little bar and it says, here's 0, here's 100%. And you download and like the graph shows that you've only gone to 50. That's a loop that's not closed. it's not closing until it gets to 100. So what I'm saying is everybody in their life has their own activities, some dreams, some things that they want to do, and the loop is still open. But it's up to you to close it. The feeling of accomplishment. Some people are OCD, right? And they love the feeling of accomplishment. So they're always trying to close loops. And if the loops aren't closed, they get upset. Come on, man, I want to close this loop. Other people like me, I'm probably too passive. I need to get more aggressive in my loop closing. I'll give you an example. I've been streaming on Twitch, and I try to get more eyeballs, and I try to get more followers, and one of the things that they suggest to do if you try to grow your stream is to join a Discord, which is something that I never knew before. Discord is basically a server. You can build a server, and you meet other people that are in that server. Half of the followers that I have, or people that I follow on Twitch, are people that I met in the server. And I have 3 servers. So when I didn't do it today, but when I do my gaming streams, I go to each server and I say, yo, I'm going live. And you hope that out of those 3 servers, if you get a couple people, then you're cooking with grease. But sometimes they're not there. Sometimes they don't show up. My point is, I had one of them show up the other day and say, you need to link your Discord to your Twitch. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because that was a loop that I never did. So now that it's closed, now that he did it yesterday, now that when I go on, maybe it'll make a difference. Julie. Oh, wow. Yeah. Did they catch that snake? Well, no, go ahead. Yeah, we've been there, what, a month, a couple weeks? No, in the apartment, I mean, like, you just.